coming and it's going to be gigantic. So there is a platform called Socios that has a coin called Chili's, which I don't own, but they have built community tokens for big football clubs, soccer clubs in Europe, AC Milan, FC Barcelona, a bunch of others. And what, as a fan, you get is a token of which you can get benefits, sort of like fan club benefits, including voting for what kind of kit they wear, or some of the choices. So you're actually involved. Your community token has a meaning. So it also has value. So if the team does better, your token's worth better.
They are working behind the scenes. I'm telling you guys right now, the prices that you see right now, it's not going to be the same. There is major wealth coming. Most of you guys who hold coins that has utility, things that solve problems. You see, Dogelon Mars, it solves problems. Reverse aging, making 90 the new 50, family. It's not just going to space. We're already at 127,000 holders, about to touch 128,000 holders. Crypto.com just bought another trillion. They're up 136 trillion. Family. Now, with this video I'm playing for you guys, I want you guys to understand. Yeah, they're not speaking directly about Dogelon Mars. They're speaking directly to cryptocurrencies that has utility. We have utility of reverse aging. A lot of businesses, major investors are behind all these new innovations. Cryptocurrency, the new asset class of wealth. Every one of you guys are early. Remember that. Everyone is early. So I want you guys to understand, if you hold digital currencies, if you definitely hold Dogelon Mars, coins that has utility, get prepared. Get prepared, because I'm telling you right now, they're working all behind the scenes. Just because you guys don't hear it on the news, just because you guys don't see it on TV, it's happening. It's going to happen like a blink of an eye. Think about it. Everything is going up. Inflation, everything. So if you hold digital currencies that has utility, be prepared. Be prepared. We are going to experience the greatest transformation of wealth.
Ecosystem, and it will give you benefits like tickets and stuff like that. So that is the start of where this is going. Everybody who monetizes online in any way, shape or form is going to have a token. Right now we're used to subscription models. Right now artists, for example, or influencers have to leverage Google and Facebook to basically monetize, and that's where brands and themselves meet, and they use advertising and other methods. But once you've got community that has a token and you have direct access to them, then you can monetize in a number of ways and create value for the community. Or you can destroy value for the community. But that's for the community to be involved in, and you can share in successes. And we're going to see this from everybody from sports stars to YouTube channels to actors and actresses, through to charities, through to, you name it. Anything with a community is going to tokenize. And it's going to unlock vast amounts of value, ability for people to participate and feel part of something, of a society which has its own form of money. And the money can go up and down in value, or it may be stable, it may be utility and function, and that's okay, but you can't be part of the society without it. But once the artist can speak to you directly, or the charity, or whatever. So community is going to be explosive. People like Rally and stuff like that, people have no comprehension how large this is going to be. I think it's one of the largest underpriced parts of the market because people haven't got their heads around it. We haven't even got our heads around insurance and all of the other kind of contingent stuff, betting, that all comes onto smart contracts. That hasn't really got off the ground because we've still got the problem with regulation. Regulation is so fucking far behind where it needs to get to. They're still trying to figure out what's a security or not, when the fact is you need to rewrite securities laws because this has nothing to do with securities. This is a whole new asset class. So in forthturning terms, we need a new infrastructure, new institutions. I think it's coming. You can't launch central bank digital currencies and then not reinvent it. And we're seeing Asia much faster adopting how this plays out. And that's massively important, to rewrite all regulation from scratch, not shoehorn it into stupid old regulation that requires endless court cases. Figure it out properly. And I think the institutions are keen to do that. It just takes time. And it's frustrating for businesses trying to build at lightning speeds when they don't really know, are they going to get prosecuted for this or not? And that's not right when you're building something so incredible. But that's not all. So all of that fits into even something larger, which is we are creating digital worlds, which we can call the Metaverse. And this is the world where everything is digitized. Barry Silbert launched all of this to us really early on when he started talking about Decentraland. Within the digital worlds, there are 3 million gamers. Those gamers live in an alternative world where they socialize with each other. So when I went to see a friend of mine, my oldest friend Daryl, went to see him at his house, his son Harry was playing, I think it was Fortnite. And I wasn't really aware of this. I knew Fortnite was the biggest game in the world, but I wasn't really sure why Harry on a Saturday would be in a gaming chair with the headphones on Fortnite on a sunny day. And Daryl's like, well, he's been out, he's played football, but now he's socialising with his mates. And I'm like, what do you mean? So we used to go to the shopping mall. And he's like, yeah, well, they don't do that now because his friends are spread around. He said they do it online. And for some of you, you're all like, duh, obviously. And to the rest of you watching this, you're going to be, what? So they hang out and talk to each other and play games together and interact and swap things and trade things with each other. Within these games, there is systems of money, tokens, earning a living, everything. And that's one game, and there's many of these games. And these games are becoming interoperable, where they connect with each other and they're all digital universes. And those digital universes have now money that can start spreading from one to the other, so it can be a base layer. Now, Bitcoin can do that too. But what we're seeing is monetary systems in this digital world where these digital goods have value. I mean, swords in some of these games now have yield curves because I want to lend my sword to you and you're going to have to pay me for it so you can get the experience of my level in the game. Same with skins. Or renting the ability to play at different levels in games. There's so many variations. But it's not just about gaming. We're starting to see income, businesses, real estate, all happening. There are digital architects that are building digital projects that have digital value, real value, that people are paying big money for. So let's go back to that Beeple story. So the guy who bought the Beeple had also bought a bunch of the other Beeple artwork, and he created a token, and he created virtual art galleries, physical digital galleries, which you could visit to see the art in various metaverses. And then he threw a party on the launch of it, where people could go listen to famous DJs in different worlds at parties, play Easter egg hunts, so you're exploring this world where you had to cross from one world to another. It's going. So digital art is trading in a digital gallery with live music, where in some cases millions of people, 20 million people attended in some of these kind of musical events in the digital world, where people are meeting, exchanging value, conversing with each other, communicating, creating communities, earning money. And that is growing at an exponential rate. And most of us don't see it because we're not Gen Z, but Gen Z are in it. Millennials seen this edge of it, but most haven't seen it. And it is coming. And universities and schools, they can all operate in this world. You can now go into a game and play another game from a different multiverse within a game. It's beyond mind-blowing. When you put an Oculus Rift, and the first thing you come into is that room, you're like, oh my God, I could live in a garage and think I'm living in a beautiful house. And that's just the start of where this is going. These technologies are exponentially growing. This whole thing is like the discovery of the Americas. There is an entire new world that has enormous potential. It is going to increase global GDP massively. It might even double it. because of what is happening. We're not constrained in a digital world by the same constraints of the physical world. In the world of universal basic income, people can earn money within these digital verses, not creating something, but creating something for a digital company in a digital world, earning digital money. You can live in a digital house, but live in your parents' bedroom. I know that makes it sound sad, and it's not supposed to be. And that's just a dystopian version of this, but there's utopian sides of this too. This whole extra world, when I talk about the Bitcoin life raft, it's not just a life raft of Bitcoin, it's everything that we understand from value is moving and being built at a speed that none of us can comprehend. Literally nobody can keep up with what is going on. It is sucking in all of the world's talent, whether it's financial talent, developer talent, philosophical talent, economic talent. Everybody is going into this. So we're creating opportunity to make money and invest at a rate of human history. I think this is the largest wealth distribution underway that has ever happened. And it's going to happen in such a short space of time, you can't get your head around it. And the reason it's a short space of time is because we really fucking need it, right? Because this other system is destroying itself. But many of us, me included, thought that this moment that we saw in March was going to be the Big Bang. Boom, all over. There is no end game. The end game is the ongoing destruction and the ongoing migration. We are all migrating across. And I know there's many of you like, Raoul, I wish you'd just talk about dollar yen and, I wish you'd go back to bonds or, traditional macro. This is traditional macro, where it's going. Everything is going here. It's almost irrelevant to talk about the bond market when it's between 2% and 0, when you've got different yields and different assets all going on over here that are fairly priced without the influence of central banks. Why would you get involved? Why care if the dollar goes up 10% when you can be involved in assets that do this? When they're all on exponential adoption curves and there's new exciting technology. Why bother? Why does it matter? Why does it matter what the price of oil does over the next 9 months? It doesn't. And so that's the realization. That's why so many macro people have moved across. Macro is going to be useful as ever for hedging, because all of this is still beholden to the world of business cycles, even though most business cycles have now been trodden out in terms of asset price effects because of the debasement of currency changing the denominator. But it will still have VAR shocks where everything implodes and goes down because there's too much leverage in the system and the usual bullshit that humans do. What we've just seen with Archegos. It's very common. And macro is great for hedging some of that stuff. But literally, I can't express to you how big this is and the opportunity. So if we look at the traditional macro world, of which I've now highlighted that I think there's a death of macro. I don't think currencies really move. I don't think bond yields really move, and not in terms of secular bet moves where we can make big money by following a career in this shit. That's done. So what does it leave? It leaves equities, okay, and it leaves crypto. Credit, that's pinned to the rate, so that's all gone. Credit's gone. Bonds are gone. Short-term rates are gone. FX trading's gone. I mean, yes, emerging markets are function of equities and further out the risk curve, but really it's going to force more money and more people to migrate into the source of returns. Now, what's extraordinary is the alpha that this space generates. The alpha is like I've never seen before. Alpha in digital assets, because there's so many of them, they're complicated, everything's going under network effects, that people who are buying tokens who really understand it are generating massive returns at this point in the cycle. It is cyclical. They will have points where they'll lose shit tons of money. But over time, because it's network effect, it doesn't revert to the mean like silver did after 1980. Assets revert to the exponential moving average. So it's always rising, which is what Bitcoin's done all the way through. Facebook's done, Google's done, all of these have done. And so, yes, these tokens, some of them will go to zero, but the whole token space and these guys, they're going to have boom bust cycles and they will keep going up exponentially. There's also the trading firms that trade crypto, algorithm traders, short-term traders, macro guys, everybody. The amount of alpha those guys are generating is unheard of. And it will happen in the down cycle too, because they will capture some of the down cycle. There's money to be made all over this. And every day there are more tokens. And these tokens are complex. So it's hard to trade. So that's even more alpha for the people who figure it out. So this space is going to be ongoing source of alpha for decades. When all real estate's tokenized, and we can trade real estate, when people are tokenized in terms of future careers or job paths or all sorts of paths, from community tokens, when you can trade FC Barcelona against AC Milan community tokens, and you can arbitrage it with something else. I mean, oh my God, you can't get your head around this. You know, equities, bonds, they're all kind of credit, they're all kind of 100, 200, $300 trillion markets. The crypto market is 2 trillion. That's 100x from here. But I think it eats all of those assets over time. So maybe it's 200x. No, it won't be a straight line. But this is the biggest change in financial markets, the system of money and economics and how economies are run in all of history, in the fastest, shortest time it's ever happened.
When Mr. Trump, whether you love him or hate him, this was the beginning of the greatest transformation of wealth the world has ever fucking seen since World War II. See, I know what he was going to do. I know what he's going to do now. And he hasn't even got started. Now, what are you going to tell your kids and your grandkids 25 years from now when they say, gee, Daddy, gee, Grandpa, what were you doing other than having your thumb up your big fucking ass during the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of the world? What were you fucking doing? Fuck all, nothing. That's what most of you will tell them, your grandchildren and your children. It's never going to get any better than this, kids. This is the, as I said on YouTube, the eye of the perfect motherfucking storm. This is it. I never thought I'd live to see it again. This is going to make the 80s look like a nursery rhyme, which I praise Allah, praise Buddha, praise God. I participated in slashing and raping everybody in the 80s, legally. This is going to make that look like a fucking nursery rhyme. And what are you going to tell your kids? Oh, I had to spreadsheet it. I had to think about it. I had to read another book on M&A, you fucking morons.